Let's look at how we can find the maximum and minimum values of a quadratic. So it's really straightforward, right? The first thing you kind of need to know is what a quadratic looks like. It looks like this, and it's in this form, right? You have a, b, and c. So an example would be x squared plus 2x plus 2. That's a quadratic. Your first skill, you should identify what's a, what's b, and what's c, okay? You should be able to do that. Now, these are some rules, right? So if your a value is positive, right, which is this, so if it's like positive, it's just plus. If I have like something like 2x, 3x, 4x, even 1.5x, right, you will have a minimum value, right? So because you know your graph is going to look like this, right? So you're going to have a minimum value over there, right? And if your a value is negative, remember your a value is negative, let's say like minus x squared, minus 2x squared, something like, I don't know, minus 4x squared, minus 1.5x squared, right? All these examples. Then you're gonna have a max value. Your graph is gonna look like this, right? It's gonna be like this. If it's like minus x squared, right? It's gonna be opening downwards, if I may say so. All right. Now, the next thing you need to know is the formula. I always like to solve it using the formula, right? Especially if you're given the equation, especially on tests. I believe the formula is the easiest and quickest way to find the maximum values. All right. So if I'm just going to use the formula over here, if I have minus b, it's basically minus b over your 2a. And then the function, you input your answer in, and you're going to get your y value. So I'll show you what that means. So this is going to be your x value, and this is going to be your y value. Okay? So let's do it for this question over here. So my b value is 2 in this case, right? So it would be, let's do it in a different color. So it's going to be minus 2 over 2 times your value of a, which is 1. Right? So let's just calculate our x value here. So it's going to be what? Minus 2 over 2 is basically just minus 1. So we found our x value. Now we need to find our y value here. So what are we going to do in this case? We're just going to plug my minus 1 into my function over here. Because if my function, I've got to state it like this. I'll just put f of x here. Show that f of x. Right? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to plug my minus 1 into my function. So it would be f of minus 1. Let me just make a little cross like this. F of minus 1 is equal to negative 1 squared, plus 2 times negative 1, plus 2 times negative 1, plus 2. Okay, so this would be equal to 1 plus negative 2 plus 2. And then if we, this would cancel out, all we're left with is just 1. All right, okay, we'd just be left with 1. All right, so therefore, my minimum value for this function over here, right, would be negative 1, 1. So my answer would be negative 1, 1. All right, but you have to state it like this. Okay, the minimum value would be negative 1, 1. Then that would be the proper way to state it. Or if some textbooks, they just want the y value, you can just say the minimum value would be 1. Okay, it just depends on your teacher and on your textbook. We have something a little different over here, right? We have f of x is equal to minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 2. The first thing I notice is that my a value, I'm essentially listed out. So, this would be my a, this would be my b, and this would be my c. First thing I notice is that my a value is a negative 2. Okay, so how would my graph look? My graph would look something like this, right? Okay, all right. That's just, you should know that. Now I'm gonna use my formula to figure it out. And I know my formula is minus b over 2a. And this is, remember, this is just to finding my x value, right? Find the x value. And we're going to be using this x value and plug it back into this, right? To find my y value, right? So let's find our x value first. So it'll be minus b, which is minus 4, would be minus 4 over 2a, what would be 2 times negative 2. And remember, this is equal to negative 4 over negative 4, so this would be equal to a value of 1, right? So I know my x value is equal to 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my 1 into this function, so it would be we're going to figure out what f of 1 is equal to, okay? To find my y value. So my f of 1 will be equal to negative 2 times 1 squared plus 4 times 1 plus 2, I believe. So make sure here. Yep. So what's going to happen is we're going to figure it out. So it's just going to be negative 2 plus 4 plus 2. Right? So let's see what this is. Negative 2 plus 4 is just going to be 2 plus 2 is going to give us an answer of just 4. Okay? So therefore, you can just make a statement here. I'm going to use pink here. So therefore, you can say therefore the max value for the function would be 1, 4. Or it depends, remember again, if your textbook's just asking for your x or your y value, sorry, if it's asking for your y value, then just give the y value, okay? Yeah, so that's all